In Chapter 4, we're going to be writing equations of lines, and in this section, section 4.1, we're going to write them in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. That's y equals mx plus b. So that's not identifying slope, that's not slope formula, that's the form for writing the equation of a line. When a line is written in this form, it gives me exactly what the name of that form tells me. It gives me the slope, which is m, and it gives me the y-intercept, which is b. So in these two examples, we are given the slope m, and we are given the y-intercept as a point. And y-intercept really is a point. The x value of every y-intercept is 0, and then the y value of every y-intercept is the b value in the slope-intercept form. So when we write our equation in y equals mx plus b, we're going to keep the y, we're going to keep the x, but we're going to replace m with the value of our slope, and we're going to replace b with the value of our y-intercept. Now, in this particular example, because my y-intercept is -1, instead of writing a plus -1, we're just going to write minus 1. So the equation of our line is y equals 3x minus 1. In our next equation, we have a slope of 1/2, so m is going to be 1/2. And in our y-intercept, the x is 0, and our y value, our b, is also 0. So y equals mx plus b. Again, the only values we replace are m and b, so 1/2 x plus 0. However, I want to point out you don't normally see an equation with a y-intercept of 0, with the 0 written. What you will usually see is y equals 1/2 x. Because when you add 0 to a value, you're just left with the value that you're adding it to. Here we're going to have to write the equation from a graph. And we need to remember that slope is rise over run, because the slope isn't just given to us. But we are given the y-intercept. We can see where it's crossing the y-axis. So our b value for this particular line is at -2 on the y-axis. To find my slope, I'm going to start from my leftmost point and go to the right point that they've identified, and I'm just going to count my rise over my run. So my rise is up 4, so I'm going to write plus 4, and my run is to the right 4, so that's also plus 4. So my slope, if I write it as rise over run, is 4 over 4. And we always simplify slope, so this simplifies to 1. So now we have the information we need. We can write the equation of our line in slope-intercept form. Again, only replacing the m and the b values. M is 1, b is -2. And because m is 1, I want to point out you may see this equation written as y equals x minus 2, because when you have a coefficient of 1, you don't always have to write the 1. It's understood to have a coefficient of 1 in your equation. Second example, we are crossing the y-axis at -1, so that's our b value. To go from my leftmost point, I'm going down 1 to my right point, I'm going right 3. So my slope is -1/3. And we can write the equation of the line. So if I replace m, I'm going to replace it with -1/3. And b is going to be replaced with another negative value. Y-intercepts aren't always negative, we just happen to have a number of examples where it was negative. In our last two examples, we're only given points, but we are given some special points. One of the points is a y-intercept, and I know this because the x value of the point is 0. But I still need to find slope, so here's the other thing I need to remember about slope. With the graphs, it was rise over run. With points, I need to remember that it's change in y over change in x, or that I'm going to find the difference between my y values. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to take 9 subtract -6 over 3 subtract 0. Subtract a negative becomes an addition. 3 subtract 0 is 3. Simplify the numerator, we have 15 over 3. And we have a slope of 5 when I simplify 15 over 3. When I write my equation, we have 5 for m, so y equals 5x, and we have -6 for b. For the second example, the second point is our y-intercept with the b value of 2. We need to find our slope, so 2 subtract -1 over 0 subtract 4. Subtract negative becomes addition. 0 subtract 4 is -4. So we have 3 over -4, or just -3/4. When you have a negative that appears in your fraction, you can just write the negative out front. It just takes one negative in a fraction to make the fraction negative. Y equals mx plus b. So we have a -3/4 x, and this time we have a +2 for b, because our y-intercept is positive. And that is the equation of our line.